Hey again everyone, this is Diabetes the Second here with the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Seed of the Week for November 22nd, 2020. Briefly, the Seed of the Week is an asynchronous race hosted by the DWR community for anyone who wants to participate. Every Sunday, a seed and flags that are posted, racers generate and run the seed anytime they choose over the next 7 days, submit their times, with the results posted the following Sunday. Each week features a unique seed and rotating flag set for racers to take on. All racers are expected to avoid spoilers and play the seed blind, and will ideally either stream or upload a VOD of their attempt. If you have interest in participating in the Seed of the Week, finding other racers, or trying out the randomizer yourself, see the description below for some links to help get you started. Shameless self-promotion as always, I stream DWR fairly regularly at twitch.tv/diabetesthe2nd, usually somewhere between 8 p.m. and midnight Eastern, including viewer-requested seeds and community races, with the occasional vanilla speedrun stream on Saturday morning. So feel free to stop by and say hello. We've been doing a lot of non-traditional flags, not exactly what we're about to see today, but something similar, so I think it should be a good time if you do come out. So let's go ahead and get things started with today's seed. So as usual, I'll be doing some post-mortem commentary of my run through this iteration of the randomized Aleph Guard. The results of today's seed will be shown at the conclusion of the run. You're in for a real treat this week if you've been following along with the last few weeks. So this week's flag set is known as Chaos, and it will provide a very different experience today than what we're used to. We'll still be working with the same basic randomization elements, including the overworld map, town and cave locations, chest and search spot treasures, enemy zones, skills and spells, hero strat growth and spells, 75% XP requirements, and repel in dungeons. However, the big changes that make Chaos so chaotic are randomization of enemy stats, enemy XP and gold rewards, hero XP to achieve levels, and equipment shop prices. So throughout the run, we'll see just how much that changes the experience. And we're underway here. Looks like we'll be the Princess of Moonbrook from Dragon Warrior 2 for the duration of this seed. Opening now with a torch. And another torch. We have the spell of Stop Spell. Stats are a little bit on the meager side, just 4 strength, which is the minimum. Pretty low HP at 10, so this is going to be a bit of a challenging opening. We do have 2 torches to throw though, so we'll probably go ahead and save here. Make sure that we use our torches to their maximal ability. You see, we need 8 experience points to achieve level 2. Alright, we've got the home castle bounded by swamp on either side and desert to the south. Let's see if we can find something worth taking out. Oh, Torch 1 connects for 7. The Magidraki puts us back to sleep. Can we kill this thing with 2 torches? The answer is no. So we'll reset and try that again. So some general comments about Chaos. The randomized XP requirements generally do follow leveling logic, so lower levels do come faster than higher ones. We saw we only need 8 experience points to achieve level 2, whereas later on we might need, 1,500 or a couple thousand to reach, let's say, level 15, 16, or whatever. Equipment prices are independently randomized and are not dependent on each other, so just because something is inexpensive doesn't mean something else will be expensive. The equipment quality is also the same as vanilla. I know in some of the other randomizers, the actual stats granted by a particular piece of equipment are randomized. That is not the case here, so they are exactly what they would be in vanilla. Probably most importantly, here at the beginning, as we're again struggling to find something to kill as the Magidrakis just put us to sleep over and over again, is that enemies get scored based on the stats they rolled plus any abilities they have. So lower stats and less abilities, or less strong abilities, give lower scores, and vice versa. The bottom 15 can be randomized into zones 0, 1, and 2, either where the castle is spawned or immediately north, south, east, and west. As we find a droll, which we're able to take out with a single torch, we get some stat gains, we'll get level 2, and wow, that's a pretty That's a pretty good level when it comes to spell learning. We got heal, heal more, and hurt more. Okay. The golem also knows hurt more. It also didn't die to a hurt more, although it did connect, so that's worth noting. So the droll that we found there may be the proverbial wet noodle. It is guaranteed to be in Zone 0. One of the enemies will have a max HP of 4 to 5 with low strength, no abilities, but it's only worth between 16 and 64 experience points. So that could be the droll. So we mentioned the bottom 15 and the wet noodle. The top 10 scoring enemies will be randomized into Charlock. They may also be anywhere else also, but they will also be found in Charlock. And then, of course, more surprises to come, even in the depths of Charlock, for later on in the run. Oh, the Magidrakey's not worth much. Only 4 experience points. Probably not worth continuing to fight them. The Wraith, though, 48's not bad. Good for a level. 1, 4, 5, 16, and Radiant. Spells at this point are almost inconsequential to some degree. We've already gotten the big ones. Oh boy, these Magidrakes are really going to be trolling us, aren't they? They have sleep, they're hard to run from, they're not susceptible to hurt more, and they're not worth much. Pretty much the worst of every possibility there. Spectre's a new enemy for us. Let's see what he's got. 86 experience ain't bad. Single hurt more kill, also good. 4, 1, 28, and 14. Looks like we picked up a couple of spells there. Actually, it looks like it's just Return. So Spectres are definitely the best enemy that we've seen so far. Die to a single hurt more seems to work most of the time, if not all the time. Wraith, also not too bad. But they seem to be in the same zone as the Magidrakey, and they just take such a long time to do something with, whether that's run away, land a hurt more, or something. Can't land a hurt more, can't run. Apparently we're just going to go back to the castle. Fair enough. You win this round, Magidrakey. GG. So at the beginning of any Chaos Seed, outside of identifying the noodle and getting yourself off the ground, really the big priority comes to finding ways to improve your stats or otherwise gain experience points. So identifying enemies that are high value, but also easily defeatable, not only now, but for later on in the game, is really critically important, as the Druid Lord is a really nice target. 185 experience points, dies in a single hurt more. We pick up level 5 here. Pretty decent level across the board. Nothing special, but solid values. A little bit of exploration here to the northwest. Trying to find another Druid Lord. Looks like we're not going to find one. Well, the Armored Knight's not overly strong, but resistance to hurt more and casting hurt more itself is not a good combination for us. Oh boy, 554 for the next level is a long way off. Let's try exploring here a little bit more. We'll go east. We do have a cave. Another Golem, which we've already seen has hurt more. Didn't die to a single hurt more earlier. Neither does this one. Ugh. Seems like everything so far has a pretty decent chunk of hurt more resistance, and considering our terrible strength, that's a big liability. The two enemies that we've identified as decent, the Spectre and Druin Lord, are really full of other enemies that are not favorable in the same zone, so makes it difficult to identify them as really viable grind targets, as we see the Stones of Sunlight Cave with the Cursed Belt in the freebie chest. Again, not particularly helpful. We can sell it for 180 gold, but that's about it. Hey look, another enemy with hurt more resistance. Outstanding. Fortunately, he's very weak. And also not worth anything. Wonderful. Warlock. Stick bonk for 50. The Warlock is apparently a better wielder of the stick than is the Princess of Moonbrook. We poke for 1, he stick bonks for 50. Oh wow, there's a town right here to the southwest that we didn't see earlier. So towns, again, are a bit of a mixed bag here. On one hand, exploring just to find a town could be, you know, very deadly because we don't know what's around every corner. At the same time, you know, we could find very inexpensive, high-tier equipment. So we'll just have to see what plays out. Ooh, there's another town just to the south also. Popped up on screen just as we entered town. It's Cole. We have a search spot and a shop to check. Aha! Erdrick's armor. Excellent pickup. What do we have in the shop? Okay, we have some options. Really, the broadsword is the best one. We just picked up good armor. I also have a large shield for like 7,000 or so gold. South of Cole, we have Hawksness. Now, you might be thinking at level 5, what are the odds that we're ever going to be able to fight anything in here? Realistically, we have a decent amount of HP. We have hurt more. We have heal more if necessary. The biggest thing we could find right now is the sword for anything that we can't hurt more to death, so it's worth at least taking a look. Plus, if it's something susceptible to hurt more, and can be easily grinded, then it's probably a good thing to find out now. $135 from the Magiwyvern on 2 hurt mores. Pretty good. Oh, Wraith Knight, over 200 experience for a double hurt more. So both of those worth keeping in mind. This could be a potential grind spot later on. Could be even a grind spot now if we choose. Ugh, Poltergeist here on the trap tile. Pretty strong. Has sleep. I've already missed 1 hurt more. We did land the stop spell though. 3 missed hurt mores. I think the Poltergeist is going to have to wait. Still though, Erdrick's armor pickup, along with the broadsword, is going to help us out a lot. We're going to be relying on Hurtmore more than anything. And really at this stage of the game, identifying enemies that we can fight to gain experience is the #1 priority. We could find the sword somewhere, but other than that, everything else we can pick up a little bit later on. So exploration will only be helpful in as much as it helps us to identify a good area in which to grind. Yet another enemy with pretty decent Hurtmore resistance here in the Green Dragon. We can do enough damage to it that if it doesn't have a huge HP pool, we might be able to take it out here pretty easily. Although I think we're already 5 swings deep now with no kill. It's not ideal. Only worth 46 experience, somewhere in the area of 100 HP. Not great. Does give us enough for the level, though. Pretty lackluster level 6, no spells, pretty mediocre stat gains. Well, that was a quick level 7. Another relatively uninteresting level, stat-wise. No spells again, a little bit of agility. I will take the continued Druid Lord encounters, though. Yeah, it's another possibility to try to stay in that zone and pick them off, but we have seen at least the Armored Knight, which is no good. We're now faced with a Poltergeist again. We got away from that one. We know they have sleep, they're very strong. Ugh, Golem's up here as well. And a dead end in what appears to be the northwest corner of the map. Oh, well that's an interesting finding. So the last time we encountered a Wraith Knight, we took it out with 2 Hurtmores. This one, we did over 120 damage and did not get the kill. So that's a problem. They're not the worst enemies. Again, they're just going to take a lot of resources. But they are worth a pretty penny and over 200 experience points per. The rest of the zone seems pretty garbo, though. Ghost seems reasonable. Died to a single Hurtmore, worth over 100 XP. Ah, we have our Charlotte Castle sighting. Pretty close to home, just due east of the castle. Alright, we have our third town. It is Breckenary. At the shop in Breck, we have... Oh, the ultimate sale item. The 1 gold silver shield. Don't sell Erdrick's armor, please. I think I saw the cheap full plate and got too excited. It's a huge, huge pickup with the silver shield there. Worth 20 additional defense points. Best shield in the game. Really, almost no reason to even check the shops from now on, with the exception of the Flame Sword, which has 8 additional attack power, but probably not going to make too much difference in the long run, especially if we were to find Erdrick's sword at some point here. Take the opportunity to head over to the tool shop and fill up on herbs, probably grab a torch or two, and get a dragon scalp. You'll notice that the tool shop prices are not randomized. These are the vanilla values. I think it would be pretty cruel to have like 10,000 gold piece herbs, so probably it's best this way. Another new enemy for us, the Metal Scorpion, appears to have very high defense. We can only hit it for 2, and we've missed 3 hurt more, so this is not a good enemy for us to fight. You know, one invaluable spell that we haven't learned that really has even more importance in Chaos than even in other modes is the Sleep spell. A lot of enemies could have extremely high agility and be very difficult to run from. So if they're able to be put to sleep, that does allow us to more easily get away from them. We haven't learned it quite yet. Appears that we found the eastern edge of the map, perhaps. Haven't found much of anything here other than another armored knight. Stop spell might be worth trying here. Or, you know, he could just run away. That works too. Oh. Didn't heal between battles. Rip hero. Based on what we've seen, Warlock, I would not be surprised if we see those in Sharlock. Very strong. Hurt more resistant. I've seen enough Machidrakes to see that I never want to see another murder bat again. They're not even dangerous at this point. They're just annoying time wasters. Yikes. Figured I would give a Warlock a punch there. Either that or was a miss menu. Yeah. Warlocks are going to be in Sharlock. High defense, high strength, hurt more resistant. For sure. Warlock is almost the Red Dragon surrogate so far in this seed, it seems. So we know that they're here to the west. That is our best option to explore. There's maybe a little bit of land as we hit the crit on the Machidrakey. We already know it's not worth much, but at least it gets the battle over quickly. There might be a little bit of land area south of Sharlock that we did not explore entirely. There were some bridges there where we died. So if we're going to make another play for the Poltergeist here. Either that or we're heading into Hawksnest to grind. Again, not the worst idea. We have at least 2 enemies in here in the Wraith Knight. And the Magic Wyvern, but apparently the Wraith Knight has Dragon Lord Breath. Also, suddenly has Hurt More resistance. Who knew? Just like everything else in this seed. So that makes Wraith Knights a lot less palatable than they were a few minutes ago. So what were pretty decent targets, although not guaranteed to be killed in 2 Hurt Mores. You know, seemed pretty good odds. Now all of a sudden, much more dangerous. We've already seen the Ghost as a pretty decent target in terms of XP. We weren't able to sword swipe that one down in a single shot, but still does take the hurt more pretty well. Wizard, I believe, is a new enemy for us as well. Shocking, hurt more didn't work. It has Stop Spell, though, and it didn't seem to be overly strong. This could be a good target for just damaging it down. Again, assuming it doesn't have a ridiculous amount of HP. I think that's already 6, 7 attacks in. At current stats, not great. This is over 100 HP now. Ooh, it's worth 183 experience points, though. That's interesting. That might be a good late-game target, once we have perhaps Erdrick Sword, a bunch more strength. We'll have to see what else is in the zone with it. We've already seen Metal Scorpions, fairly resistant to both sword swipes and hurt more, and it has heal more, because of course it does. See me checking for the sleep spell there. Okay, Ghost also in the Wizard Zone. That's a good combination, worth filing for later reference. Druin Lord, not sure if this is the same zone or if this is a little bit to the south. We already know they're good too. Finally, another level. 3, 2, 8, 5, no spell. Oh wow. There is a cave here in this small area that we did not explore earlier across the bridge. Hopefully the lack of finding this did not hurt us in the long run. Really the only thing that would be over here that would be problematic would be the sword. Rogue Scorpion, not too bad. That's actually pretty vanilla in terms of experience for a single Hurtmore cast. First chest here in the mountain cave is empty. Skeleton trolling us pretty effectively there. Didn't die in a single Hurtmore. Also tough to run from. Cursed Belt in chest number 2. Fighter's Ring. And Wings. The Fighter's Ring for 2 extra attack power. 1 more chest to find. Magiwyvern is a good target here. Not sure why I'm not taking advantage of them. Now before we saw 2 hurt more kill. I do have a bit more strength now. Not sure if I can sword swipe them to finish them off or not. Drakey runs away before we can find out what he's worth. And the final chest is the Fairy Flute. You know, you see, I elected to give up the Fairy Flute there. Fairy Flute is an odd item. I feel like in more standard flags, it's very common to just go ahead and pick it up, and normally, I'm 100% pick up the sword. Or sorry, pick up the flute. Goldman there has Dragon Lord Breath, 1 HP survival, but not worth much. But in Chaos, because the Golem doesn't have the same significance that it does in the vanilla, it might not be worth clogging up our inventory with. Actually, that wasn't a 1 HP survival, we only punched it for 1. That's a problem. Alright, well, we cleared out the mountain cave, there's nothing else there. If we had keys, we could try for a gold grind, but again, with the equipment that we already have and random shop prices, likely not to be all that beneficial anyway. So by not picking up the flute, I leave my options open when it comes to, you know, having 1 more fairy water in the inventory for a either fairy water Dragon Lord kill, or just, you know, an extra cast of repel without using MP. Heading back into Hawksness. I mean, it's a fine play. I mean, we do want to check things off the list, I guess. I don't see any specific urgency to do so. Again, if the Poltergeist is worth a lot, this could be a grind spot potentially, but already having the armor, sword is really the only thing that I need or would want to pick up now, as opposed to whenever I happen to find it. I'm only level 8. Stats are nowhere near close to Dragon Lord ready. As we find out the Poltergeist also has Dragon Lord Breath. Well, that's fun. Sleep, Dragon Lord Breath, and High Strength. So we're going to try to get through this battle. It's just a war of attrition, hoping that the Poltergeist casts Sleep more than it does anything else. As long as we're at 48 HP or better, we are safe, barely, from death. That would be probably the max. We haven't seen what he can do in terms of physical damage at a maximum, but probably is going to be less than Dragon Lord Breath. Hey, we finally got him. He's only worth 75 experience. I don't think it's worth all the trouble. The search tile has the Silver Harp, so quest item number 1 in the books. Okay, Drakema also a pretty good target, 166 experience. Gives us level 9. Pretty good stat gains across the board. Nothing outstanding, but solid across. Still very lacking in the strength and agility departments. HP, MP... Frankly, the high MP is really saving us this one. Because really we're heavily relying on Hurt More to get us through a lot of battles. Still no spells though, so no sleep would be by far the most helpful spell left that we could learn. Only direction left to explore at this point is west and south of Cole, which is where we're headed now. Druin Lord gives us level 10? Alright, strength and HP, or sorry, strength and agility starting to come around a little bit. Really slow going here in exploration just because of how many just bad encounters we're running into. Finally some new terrain. Aha, we have a town. And it's Garinham. Unfortunately, we still do not have keys. We can refill the herbs though. You can also check the shop for a flame sword. Nope, no flame sword. Still really looking for that high-yield grind zone. We could settle into a grind really at any point. Red slime is new for us. Ooh, red slime's a really nice target. What else is in the zone with it? We saw the Magic Wyvern a little bit to the north, not sure if that's the same zone or not. Blue Dragon with Sleep, Hurt More, and High Defense, not ideal. But if it's Stop Spell susceptible and worth a bunch, maybe we found a good zone. Ugh, more Hurt More resistance. It's worth 200 though. That's a tough one. I think the time investment in killing blue dragons is just going to be too high. So it probably has somewhere between 70 and 100 or so HP as we find the tablet cave here. One's chest, no encounters. Have to walk back out, we do not have outside. In the chest we have our first key. That's actually really important. We have yet to find keys in this seed almost 40 minutes in. Garinham is nearby, we could burn the key there. We could also go home, buy more keys, and then check everything and walk back. Or we could just, you know, further explore. Lots of options right now. Again, no specific urgency to do checks because we know that our stats are nowhere near ready. It's taken us quite a bit to get down here, so it looks like I'm going to continue the exploration for a little bit. Oh, 2 more caves. Okay, we have Swamp North. Before going through, it looks like we're going to go ahead and check the other. Okay. Scorpions are still a bit of a mystery. It's the Rainbow Drop Cave. So I'll have to come back here eventually. We killed the droll very early on with a torch. Turns out they have really high defense. Not worth much, so we're just going to pass on that. We'll go for the Wraith instead. So really chipping away at the levels here. Wizard we've seen is pretty decent, just has a fair bit of HP. We have a little bit more strength now, so this battle should go a little bit faster. So that was 33 damage, 53. 65, 83, 101. Okay, so somewhere in the area of about 100 HP. As we pick up strength, those battles are going to become faster. That's a viable grind. Just need to find a zone that's conducive to it. If the Scorpion and Armored Knight are also in the zone, neither of those are very good, so tough call. Magic Wyvern, though, also good. $37 damage, excellent move at level 10 with a broadsword. That's awful. Well, another wizard here, so... If Armored Knights and Golems, or whatever it was that are in this zone, that would not be great, but Wizards and Magic Wyverns are both good. Again, these are the types of things in a Chaos Seed that you really have to start to ingrain and kind of assess and evaluate as you go. Because your grind tiles are probably unlikely to be good options. They're going to be some of the strongest enemies out there in terms of total score, and they might not be worth much. We have a town here, and it is Cantlin. Not sure what I was expecting there. I walked right back out. Let's see if we got a flame sword. Flame sword is over 12,000 gold. No reason to check any additional shops, but we can burn our 1 key to turn it into 6 keys. Not sure why I'm checking the shop there. There's literally nothing else I can find that is better than what I already have. Huh. Did I not notice the flame sword? Did I forget that I already have Erdrick's armor and a silver shield? And a broadsword? I don't know. It only wasted a few seconds. It's fine. Search coordinates. 1 north, 55 east. Based on the map, that's going to be somewhere near Sharlock/Breckenary? but very far from where we currently are, so best to finish exploration down here, potentially go across the swamp cave to see what's on the other side. We could also hit up Garinham to see what's in the back there as well, and check the treasure chests. Forgot to check off keys on the tracker there. We'll go ahead and light that up. Looking like we have a dead end here north of Cantlin. Unless that one tile to the northwest goes through to something. Scorpions seem to be particularly annoying here. High agility, hard to run from, hard to damage, hurt more resistant. Fortunately, they're not overly deadly, and they're their own strength until he decides to run away as we confirm the dead end. Again, this is another tough one. So the Wraith is good. The Wizard is good. If the Magic Wyvern is in this zone, that's also great. But it might not be. That might be in the zone to the south. Wait, what? Wizards have Dragon Lore Breath? Where did that come from? We've fought like 6 or 7 of them this seed. We have not seen Dragon Lore Breath once, I don't think. Must be a 25% secondary ability. Oof, the double dodge. Third dodge. And there's the kill. And the level. Let's see what we got. 2, 1, 17, 16. Pretty much the story of the seed. We did pick up a spell, or spells. Haven't checked it yet, though. Not sure what it is. Alright, we did check there. It looks like... was that... heal and outside, I think? That was a quick pickup of level 12. Whoa, 24 strength, 1, 1, 2. Looks like we also picked up the rest of our spells, both sleep and repel. Interesting. So that's, I can see I'm almost hesitating. What do I want to do here? It looks like we're going to try to sit and grind a bit. Scorpions, though. Scorpions are no good. Even with 24 additional strength, it looks like we still can't reliably damage them. Still gonna be tough to run from, although I do have sleep. Could try that to get away. Yeah, perhaps abandoning the idea of grinding in this zone. Instead, Again, either going back to the Swamp Cave, perhaps to Garinham to check out the back there. Looks like we'll go to the Swamp Cave. Probably worth checking out the search tile here also. Coordinates are probably pretty easily countable, but might benefit from a princess rescue. A couple Hurtmore misses, no surprise. Ugh. Almost no damage with physicals. I guess I just got really lucky on my first Hurtmore cast, because we hit Hurtmore to open this battle, and then we've missed like 5 in a row? 6 in a row? Physical attacks aren't going to get it done. We miss Hurtmore yet again. Wow. We were at full resources. Full HP MP. We could not take down that Warlock. If we had physical attacked it through, maybe we would have been able to, but that's terrible. So no princess rescue. Yeah. Go back, check the things, you have keys. Good thinking. So in the treasury, we have a dragon scale. Already got one. We have fairy water. Sure. Let's pick that up. Chest 3 is wings. Don't care. Already have return. Guard, get out of the way. Final chest is a torch. I've already got a bunch in my inventory. There's nothing special in the Tantagel treasury. Alright, in the castle basement we have the Staff Cave. Fortunately, the one quest item we do have is the Silver Harp. So we now have the Staff of Rain. I'm kind of thinking what I'm going to do here. It looks like we'll go ahead and count coordinates. Good choice. If it's the sword, that's only going to help us with these enemies that we've been trying to fight all along. If it's one of the quest items instead, well, we needed it anyway. Ugh. The last thing I want to see is a freaking Warlock. Haven't tried to put one to sleep. It's probably a good move. There we go. Of course, it failed. It's still the best option. Maybe. Or we could just straight up run. That works too. Some decent XP gains here along the way. Nothing special, but every little bit's gonna help us. It is Erdrick's Token. So quest item number 2 in the books. Back to the castle and back west. Next target, probably the back of Grinham. Then continued exploration down in the southwest corner. You know that the swamp cave is down there, which you may elect to rescue the princess. Now, perhaps I didn't actually see that there was a dead end south of Hawksness there. You know, one additional benefit to rescuing the princess would be picking up Gwaylin's love. A lot of times we think about it as not strictly necessary, especially if either the search tile doesn't exist, it's not important, or the coordinates are easily countable. But in Chaos in particular, don't forget the secondary function of the GPS. It also gives us an idea of how many experience points we need to achieve the next level. Now, the only other way to do that is to talk to the king, which is not necessarily convenient to do because we have to either take a death or otherwise return to the castle to find out. So if we can get the GPS, that also gives us an easy way on the fly to determine how many experience points we need to get the next level. Now, the Warlock is not going to be the easiest thing to get through, as we've seen. Very high defense, high Hurtmore resistance, seems to be relatively resistant to sleep as well. It's fairly strong. It's just not a good target. So we'll see what the play is. I think I would probably avoid it in this case. In the meantime, let's just go ahead and check Grinham first, once the NPCs get out of the way. In the back of Grinham we have an empty chest. The Stones of Sunlight, our third and final quest item. And the Death Necklace. Death Necklace is tough. We have pretty decent HP, MP so far in this seed. But the Death Necklace is tough in Chaos. We'll talk a little bit once we get to the end game, which we're rapidly nearing, exactly what we need to get through once we get to Sharlock as we discover the grave here in the back of Grinham in its vanilla location. So we're just looking now for the sword. More fairy water. Again, probably just go ahead and stock that in the inventory. Reckonery is right outside of Sharlock, so if we need to stock up, we can pretty effectively with the magic key in the third chest. So looking at what we've explored and haven't explored as yet, it looks like the only remaining checks are the 2 chests here at the bottom of the grave. We haven't found Remolder yet, so there's 1 chest there, and then the 7 chests in Sharlock Castle. Probably going to have to start rationing the MP use a little bit here. Really don't want to be sent back at this point. Yeah. The Magiwyvern is such a good target, but the fact that it takes 2 Hurtmore casts to kill, we can sword swing it down, but it does have the ability to run, so we don't want to waste a time investment to get nothing in return. Using sleep there effectively to get away from the droll. Stone Man, yet another enemy with Dragonlord Breath. Fortunately able to be put to sleep and escaped from. MP, a big concern, down to just 11. As we pick up chest number 4 here momentarily. It is a cursed belt. Kinda hoping the Arbor Knight just runs away. We know that it can. If it were Metal Slime in a normal seed, it would have run away before we even got a chance to do anything. There it is. It's funny how that works sometimes. Scorpion, another enemy that we know that has been very problematic to kill, just goes ahead and runs away. Also good. We are out of healing magic. We do have potentially a single heal cast. We also have a full complement of herbs if necessary. Might be a good idea to try to put the Stone Man to sleep, but we did get away there. Final chest is some gold. I'd love to cast outside here and be able to walk down to Swamp Cave and potentially go across as we cross the 1 hour mark. But I don't have enough MP to cast outside, so I'm either going to have to walk all the way out or look for something that can give us a death warp here. Spectre looks to be pretty weak, although it does have sleep. We could try. I'm looking at my inventory. Is there anything that I can use to skip turns? Apparently, the answer is no. Already dropped my Fighter's Ring and my Dragon Scale. We know Scorpions are very weak. So that's not going to do it. We might have to walk out. So that's the one problem with doing the Deep Grave Dive. Ideally, I would have maintained enough MP to continue on, but unfortunately it just didn't work out that way. I really wanted to get that last check in. I want to orphan this last chest just in case it was indeed the sword. Okay. Armored Knight has hurt more. This could do it. Looks like I'll try to get away. You know, the other problem with doing a death warp here is the Rainbow Drop Cave is right near the Swamp Cave, which is down here in the southwest. So not only do we not have the opportunity for further exploration, but even though we have all the quest items, we would not be able to pick up the Rainbow Drop and enter Sharlock without checking in with him first. This is definitely suboptimal, but, you know, however it works out, it works out. With only 8 checks left, not knowing where Remolder is, we do have a little bit of land area here on the first continent to still explore, not much. But likely that Remolder's on the second continent somewhere. It might be just an odds-on play to just go ahead and dip into Sharlock and see if the sword is there. We know that stat-wise we're not particularly close yet. And the sword, especially with the enemies that we're looking at potentially grinding, for example, the wizard, if we have the sword, that's going to be a huge upgrade. Because they're not very more susceptible. And if we can take them out in 2 or 3 sword swings instead of 3 or 4 or 4 or 5, that's just going to save time in the long run. Well, we got all the way back out. It was the slow way. It took us almost 3 minutes to do so. but we do save our map position. Ugh. Still doing very little damage to the blue dragon. We've only tried Stop Spell once against them, and it did work, so it might be worth trying that again. This zone wasn't too bad if memory serves. We also had Magic Wyverns down here, and perhaps something else. Red Slimes, I think. Looks like we are gonna take a quick gander to see if we can find Remolder. Nice crit, well timed. Drakeys, not bad. 125 experience, and it's enough for level 13. 2, 7, 3, 6. Again, severely lacking in the strength department. Agility's starting to get into a not completely terrible range. HP, MP look okay. Drakeys seem like fairly reasonable enemies to fight. Unfortunately, they just run away too much. If we could one-shot it, that's a different story. Alright, nothing there southeast of Garinham. Alright, Magician not messing around, we'll put him to sleep. That worked pretty effectively. Droll we also know is very difficult to run from, put him to sleep as well. So really that sleep strat, very powerful. Alright, Rainbow Drop acquired. Looks like we're going to opt out of either trying to rescue the princess or taking a further look for Remolder and its single chest. Ooh, if we can one-shot ghosts. This zone with ghosts and wizards could be very good. Looks like instead of grinding, the option is going to be to go heal up very quickly in Reckonary and then dive into Sharlock looking for the sword. Again, better to know now than after we've done a grind that, you know, if the sword's here, we're good, but if the sword's not here, that we have to go back, search for Remolder, etc. So I think this is a pretty strong move. Really should heal first. Don't go in with 49 HP, or 49 MP. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Want to make sure that we dip in with maximum resources, that way we can fight things on the way down if we find good things to attack. But we also have enough to make sure that we get down there, clear all the chests, and get back in a timely manner. Interesting. So this is my first cast of Repel this seed. So Repel is interesting because of the mechanic and the way it works. So Repel will get rid of enemy encounters in which the defense power of the hero is greater than the strength of the enemy that we're trying to avoid. Now, throughout the seed, I haven't cast it, and the biggest reason for that is, normally in the vanilla and in, standard flags for the randomizer, as we see the Poltergeist with its Dragon Lord breath again, the lower tier enemies aren't worth much. I don't want to encounter red slimes. I don't want to encounter Drakies in the late game. Here, we've seen that those enemies can be worth a whole lot, so we don't necessarily want to repel them. So in this case, I'm trying to get rid of the things that are very hard to run from, so super high agility, but might not have the highest strength. We kill the Drakima there for level 14, 5430, so pretty unremarkable. So we let the repel wear off, and if we start to see things that we've had trouble with, things like scorpions, magicians, etc., we'll know that it's important to keep repel up. Wyvern only hitting us for 5, we're likely defense breaking him as well, so he would be repelled. Yep. Double hurt more, not worth really anything, so not sure why I'm not putting on the repel spell again here. Even if we only get rid of a few encounters, it's better than getting rid of none. It's our first Star Wyvern encounter. Okay. He was not interested. But the werewolf. Also high defense, so this is another enemy that would be repelled had we had it active. Anything that is defense broken like that would be repelled if we had it active. Perhaps I'm realizing that now. Should really get the repel spell back up for speed purposes. Yep, there it is. So as we alluded to at the outset of the seed, the enemies that have the top 10 highest scores based on their rolled stats, based on their ability set, etc., are randomized here into the zones in Sherlock. That's why we're seeing things like we've seen. Erdrick Sword, first chest here in the treasury. No reason to check anything else. That's the last thing we needed. Stats still not there at this point, or at least it sure doesn't seem like it. Looks like we'll make the play to at least check the spike tile. If it's a warlock, we know that they've been very problematic for us. If it's something else, we can at least get a hint of what we might need to do to get through. Alright, Metal Scorpion. Since it has heal more, either casting and landing a stop spell versus just trying to power through the heal more seem to be good options here. Alright, we got through. So Metal Scorpion for a spike tile enemy is not too bad. Depending on how frequently it casts heal more, this could be a grind. There's another heal more. And if we can't land Stop Spell effectively, we've already tried it once so far, and then I think we've tried it a few times in the past with not much success. This could end up being much slower than I'd like. And they're worth a fair bit, but that seems like it would be a pretty decent time investment. So we'll see. It's not the worst idea. We've seen a couple of zones on the outside that might be worthwhile as well, so we'll see how this goes. In the meantime, a couple other things to keep in mind. We did mention that there may be some more surprises to come, even in the depths of Sharlock, as we crit the Metal Scorpion. Plot twist? Probably not. Dragon Lord is randomized along with all the other enemies. So, DL1 is kind of in the same pool as everything else. Lots of randomization to him, so he's not the predictable pushover he usually is. So max HP between 80 and 196 HP for DL1, strength all the way up to the maximum possibly at 255. He may also have any abilities, so that includes things like Heal More, Sleep, Dragon Lord Breath, all of which could be very dangerous and deadly. But he also has randomized resistances to compensate, so potentially casting Sleep or Stop Spell or Hurt More against him may work. It's just going to be a bit of a fact-finding mission. Wouldn't be surprised if I headed over and took a look and see what he has before I get here out of Sharlock. It's a pretty short walk back, so I wouldn't be surprised if I opt to do that. So depending on what DL1 has, in some ways, DL1 can be really the real final boss given the right set of circumstances. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. Guess what? DL2 also has randomized elements added to his pool. Not as much, but it can make a significant difference. So in normal DWR, DL2 is buffed from 130 max HP in vanilla to 150 to 165, but otherwise he's the same. Let's check out level 15 real quick. 1455. Not super helpful. Strength is what we needed the most. That's the thing that we got the least. We'll see if we continue the grind here. Looks like it. So that's normal rando. In chaos mode, HP range for DL2 from 100 to a whopping 230 possible max HP, but his strength and defense remain the same. So there is at least some predictability. We just don't know how long that fight might last. DL2 also may have access to Heal and Sleep, both of which can make landing a Stop Spell against him absolutely crucial to a successful fight. So the wide HP range, the presence of abilities, really makes the math of a viable DL2 fight much more difficult to assess than the normal situation. So what normally might be a completely free win, resources to spare, that could fall short in a fight like this depending on what stats and what abilities DL2 rolls. On the other hand, what would normally be a suicide run that, definitely has not enough resources would be dependent on, perfect god tier RNG might actually sneak through. We just don't know. So target stats are a little bit difficult to assess in a Chaos Seed. In general, I'm probably a little bit more on the conservative side. I'd want at least enough to get through, a normal DL2 fight. But that doesn't mean that you can't get by with less. Now, where we are now with only 110 attack power, even with the best of circumstances where DL2 has only 100 max HP, no abilities, or let's say it even has Heal or Sleep and we're easily able to put him into Stop Spell state, I just don't see it happening. We can only do 2 to 5 damage per turn, even with 13 Heal Mores. I think it's pretty unlikely we can do enough damage to win. It's possible with full Fairy Waters, but I think pretty unlikely and not worth trying. So we'll just have to see what happens here with the upcoming levels. We've also seen that Sharlock doesn't seem to be too deadly. We can repel a fair number of enemies, but we might need to burn a decent bit of MP casting Sleep and the occasional heal more on the way down. So we would like to have some extra resources in terms of MP for the dive. All right, we've hit level 16, 6514. Again, pretty lacking still in the strength department. We don't have other stats that are particularly, you know, beyond their standard values. It's not like we have 170 HP or, you know, anything like that to really compensate for the low strength, so I think continuing the grind is the right play here. We really haven't seen many of the metal scorpions run away, but we're now seeing a bunch do just that. That's not good. That's making this grind just that much more difficult. Not only do we have to deal with the heal mores, but the potential for the runaway. The other thing is we're just not sure when we're going to reach the next level. You know, because we didn't save the princess, we don't have the GPS. Without the GPS, the only way to tell when we can hit the next level is via the king. Unless we take a death refill, we're not going to be seeing him. Alright, level 17. 6, 14, 11, 15. That's a big level. See, now I look at the numbers and things become a lot more viable. I think I'm trying to do the math and wow, we suddenly hit level 18. That was fast. Oh, we got almost nothing out of it. 1, 1, 10, 0. Gross. But doing the math here now opens up a lot of possibilities. So, we have over 130 HP, so the death necklace is feasible. We have 15 heal mores. And our damage range on physicals at 123 attack would be 5 to 11, so 8 on average. As we hit another crit on the Metal Scorpion. Not sure if I'm just pursuing additional stats or if I'm trying to quickly do the math here at the same time. Probably both. But looking at the numbers and looking at that, assuming I don't use the Death Necklace, 8 average with 15 heal mores, let's assume we need to burn at least 1 plus some some MP for sleep spells or something on the way down, maybe a repel cast or something. Let's say at best case scenario we have 14 heal mores. Usually you can estimate about heal mores plus 2 for number of attacks, so let's say 16. And we're doing 8 on average in terms of damage. That's only 128 damage on average. That's not great. Granted, over 100 HP, 130 HP, probably we're going to get some double attacks in there. If we figure we'll get 2 or 3, we can maybe get up into the 150 range on average for DL2. We could try it. I think that's kind of what I've determined at this point too. Let's take a look at DL1 and see what he's got for us. Keep in mind we could also do fairy water strats, stock up on fairy water, and throw some of that at DL2 also. Average damage there would be 12.5 as we find out that DL1 has both sleep and weak fire breath. Ooh, he's also very strong. Just punched us twice for 52 and 59 damage. Next level, only 1,000 experience points away, that's not bad. Might be worthwhile to check out the next level and see if we get any big stat gains. We've already seen a 24 strength gain level not too long ago. We have this zone right here. Wizards, ghosts, both of which were pretty solid. So we are going to elect to grind out the next level. Again, no one likes abstract math, but for better or for worse, that's really the name of the game right now. There's a lot of calculations and figuring the odds of victory, the average amount of damage that I can do. And with my inventory as such, I can hold up to 6 fairy waters in inventory. Total of 8 inventory slots, but I have to keep the rainbow drop, and I have to keep the... I guess I don't have to keep the death necklace. I could elect to throw it away. I didn't elect to pick up the fairy flute earlier, so I do have that extra inventory space, and I did not save the princess for Gwaelin's love. So potentially I could pick up 7. Alternately, I could go with 6 and the death necklace. If I put the death necklace on, going up to 133 attack power, fairy water becomes less helpful, so I would probably go with one or the other. Fairy water's average 12.5 damage per throw at a range of 9 to 16, so I could potentially get into like the 170s range. But again, this level is so quick to come, so it's probably a good idea to check and see what level 19 has. Okie doke, level 19. 2272. Didn't really give us much. 2 strength makes a tiny tweak to our average damage. Seven HP makes double attacks slightly more likely. At this point, I think it is probably worthwhile to just go ahead and go. I guess one thing I could do, which it appears to be what I'm going to do, is check with the king to see just how long it's going to take to get to the next level. If the next level is very close, it might be worth it to just make the final fight that much easier and more guaranteed, or at least theoretically. If it's far away, over 3,000 experience points, I don't think so. Then we can just say, nope, we're going to go with what we have. If it's enough, wonderful. If it's not enough, we knew that we tried. Based on the numbers right now, I think it's Very likely we pull a win out here. Probably was possible to do so even at something like level... Well, when did we pick up the big strength? That was like level 12. We also had a big stat gain at level 17, so probably level 17 would have been the first potentially viable level. Again, at least assuming average stats from DL2. Alright, electing not to fill up on fairy water. So my intention is likely either to go ahead and put the death necklace on, or just use the fairy waters I have for repel purposes and save the MP. So right now I have 16 heal mores. Let the repel wear off there and immediately run into one of the enemies that we know has low strength but high agility, difficult to run from, easily repelled, so we'll go ahead and throw the fairy water on. Magicians seem to be kind of the worst of both worlds. High strength and high agility, difficult to run from, but susceptible to sleep, fortunately. It does take us down to 15 heal mores. But also frees up, let's say, an extra cast of Stop Spell, cast of Heal, another cast of Sleep. Should be repelling most of the things here in the bottom zone. I think most of what we saw were those low strength, high agility enemies. Alright, back to the Metal Scorpion. Should be an easy battle, especially when it runs away. Alright, so the key is going to be first getting through DL1. We saw that Stop Spell didn't work, Sleep is problematic, trying Sleep ourselves might be worthwhile. If we can put him to sleep and just avoid his attacks altogether, that would be great. 28, 56... $79. 115 was enough to take him out. So, not too bad on DL1, susceptible to sleep. Let's head into DL2. We get back attacked. Not ideal. We're still going to open with an attack here. Did not use the Death Necklace. That's 12. I don't really agree with neither picking up or using the Death Necklace nor picking up Fairy Water. I think doing one or the other would have been the play. But we just didn't. I'm not sure if I forgot to put on the Death Necklace or what. We've done 30 damage so far. 40. Another double attack. 50. 56. We've not seen sleep yet, so becoming more likely that the Dragon Lord does not have it. 67. But casting Stop Spell at the outside of one of these battles is usually a pretty good play. I didn't. We'll see if that comes back to burn me in the end. 79. $89. 100 even. $109. 116. 126, and the Dragon Lord casts Heal. Okay. So we know that he has less than about 170 HP. Stop Spell worked on the first try. Lovely. So he would have healed around somewhere between 20 and 28, so he's around 100 damage. We need to do about 60 to 70 more to get the kill here. I think we're going to have this one in tow. So we did 8. 16. Now, anytime he casts Heal from now on is just a wasted turn. 23. 'Love it. 33. 40? Oh, you know what? I think I missed an attack in there. Because that was not enough. That should have been probably... Yeah. That was close to, let's see, 60, almost 70 damage. So pretty much right where we expected. We get the job done. We get out of the castle. We return home. And the princess, at least the princess of Moonbrook, princess of Tanthagil, she's in a cave somewhere. Don't worry about it. And thus the tale comes to an end with a final time of 1:35:58 in this Chaos victory. That was an interesting one. Chaos is always a bit of a... It's an interesting set of flags to run. It really kind of throws a lot of the things that you're used to on their head, and it makes you really think and have to evaluate as you go. As we said at the top, what enemies to fight, what enemies to avoid, where good grind zones may be, where, you know, bottlenecks may be. What enemies do you sleep? What enemies do you cast Hurt More against? What enemies do you try to sword swing? What enemies do you put to sleep? You know, all those types of things. There's just a lot of variables in here. And then, of course, when it gets to Dragon Lord Math, I'm fairly certain that it was probably winnable at a earlier state, just based on what it turned out Dragon Lord's stats were, or his abilities, at least based on what our estimates would be. It's probably fairly likely that that's the case. That said, I think overall everything went pretty well. No major setbacks. I think the long walk out of the grave was probably the biggest time sink, about 3 minutes there. If we had just saved, what, like 3 extra MP, that we would have saved 3 minutes. But outside of that, I think pretty much everything went about as well as could be expected. Just for funsies, I did go ahead and pull the stats for DL1 and DL2 just so we could take a look at them. So as the credits roll here, taking a look, we see DL1, 50% sleep, 25% weak fire breath. So the sleep we kind of figured, we did see fire breath a couple of times. But notice that his sleep resistance was 0. So anytime we put him to sleep, he was going to go to sleep. So that was a good play on trying that out. So that worked out really well. He was very strong, but not very big on HP. So we got through that fight without too much difficulty, fortunately. DL2, pretty much what we expected. We said somewhere in the around 170, turned out to be 162 based on the math that we did during the fight. Again, it's about mid-range, somewhere between 100 and 230, so that's about smack dab in the middle. He did have 50% heal, so no surprise there. We did see that. He cast it a number of times, and fortunately, only 4 out of 16 stop spell resist. So we hit the 75% chance in our first cast, so we got through that pretty well. So overall, both DL1 and DL2, about as mid-range as you can be, pretty much across the board. So not too trolly, but also not freebies either. So how did we do? Let's take a look at the results from this week's Seed of the Week for Dragon Warrior Randomizer Chaos Edition. Second place, not too shabby. It's really hard to assess sometimes when it comes to these chaos seeds just because of how, literally random things are. It can be a little bit difficult to say if you did things well, if you did things poorly, if you made good finds, bad finds, you went at the right level or not. We clearly saw that we probably could have won earlier than we did, but we could also have gotten trolled pretty hard by some of those enemies in Charlock. Things that I did well, things that I did poorly that probably affected that. I think we already highlighted the long walk out of the grave as costing a lot of time. But on the other hand, we did have the big time saves of casting sleep on a number of enemies in Charlock. So allowing us to run away faster could definitely have saved not only resources, but also saved a significant amount of time. Only 12 submissions this week, not entirely surprising, given we did have the Thanksgiving holiday in the US during this week of the randomizer Seed of the Week. We also had Chaos Flags, which don't necessarily appeal to everyone. They tend to be particularly difficult for newer runners who just don't know the game quite as well, so that is also a possibility for why we had fewer runners this week. Angel FM, I gotta give it to him. 125 is an awesome time, a full 10 minutes clear of the field. That's a really outstanding run. I'd be very interested to see what his choice of grind was, as well as what level he ended up winning this thing at. In any case, that's Chaos Edition of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Seed of the Week. If you enjoyed this content, please feel free to leave a like on the video, a comment below, or subscribe to the channel for more. Would appreciate all of those things. Also, come visit over at twitch.tv/diabetes2 for more Dragon Warrior Randomizer, Seed of the Week, and other similar gameplay. Also, a reminder to check out the description below for more information on the randomizer, as well as the DWR Discord community. And until next time, this is Diabetes2. Stay healthy, stay safe, and take care.